Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my friends on the Earthship. Welcome to my little Alchemy podcast. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Cindy Carter. I'm an intuitive, an artist, an energy healer, and a spirit consultant. This series of Alchemy podcasts each Sunday is for the continuing understanding of ourselves as the Master Alchemist of our own life, that we're in charge, no one else is, and that we are now able to become empowered by the grace of our own divinity. Right here on this crazy, volatile earth, we can find peace here. Last week's podcast was called Show Up, where we asked the question, how are you showing up to life? And are you showing up to represent your wisdom and your intelligence and your connection to Source? Or are you showing up through obligations or through altered ideas against your truth, let's say? So that brings me to today's podcast. I called it The Winds of Truth. I have a close friend. He's in Hawaii. He's kind of like a wizard, really. And he gave me this topic today. It's very much in everyone's mind. What is the truth right now? How are we to represent our divine worth to a world full of imbalance and all these mixed up truths? How do we discern a truth amongst all the untruths? Amongst all the accelerated lies that are being unearthed? An older podcast of mine is called The Grand Purge, where that's really relevant today, where I talked about how cellular bodies are purging their darkness. And this is happening collectively and individually right now. So many awful things are about to come to light. So what really is the truth? Knowing that there is so much purging going on, collectively and individually, how are you to find your way in this truth, in this untruth stuff? The news and the fake news. I'm right, you're wrong. Yikes. It just feels like opposition to me to find the truth in someone else's speech, in someone else's idea, even in a collective understanding. Finding the truth is a very difficult task. And I'll tell you why. Throughout this whole podcast, you're going to find out that the truth is an individual perception based in wholeness. Until we come into our, soul fragments and start collecting in our higher wisdoms, we will always see through lenses of limited access. There are going to be people all around us that are purging their darkest thoughts and their darkest expressions. Please understand that they may be speaking a collective truth, but not a universal truth. A truth just for them through their eyes, and usually it's from a wicked abuse to these people that they come out with this volatile purging of their dark past, their darker experiences. But during this purge, they're now being influenced by what they see, what they taste, what they smell, what they intuit. They are totally off kilter during the purge. It's not part of wholeness when we're purging like this. The collective truth of humanity sees life through the strife of its past, through its lineage with death and wars, through the limited lens. Not of wholeness, not through the truth of divinity, looking at itself. Discernment is really required right now because so-called truths need to be examined further with yourself. The motivation or the underlying intention of that person, it also may need to be looked at or meditated on or to be determined by yourself. For yourself. How does this idea sit with me? How does the energy feel? How does this exchange of energy and information within you, how is it received by you? without going into a consensus or without going into accord with others, come up with a truth for yourself. It really doesn't require others to determine it. And that is not a consensus amongst most humans. They believe that, scientific truth is the only truth. I don't really like to use politics too much as an example, but today I sure could. And I'm just going to say it like this. What you may be feeling as your truth, what if all the information that came to your body and your mind was manipulated and skewed for you not to see a truth? What if it was masked? What if you were deceived? And now you're standing in your so-called, I'm doing air quotes right now, air quote, truth, but you've been deceived. Say you pick a political figure and you rally behind them. You might even argue for them and you just know that they're true or they are the truth. This is the truth according to Ralph. Well, Ralph watches a television about 6 to 12 hours a day. He might even drink a 12-pack of beer. He might have a limited view of life because of his former traumas, his existing traumas. So this kind of makes Ralph kind of rather science-based. He wants information, concrete information, for him to come to his conclusion. He doesn't trust his wholeness, his divinity, to come to a truth. You see what I'm saying? Now we'll be exposing hidden truth pretty soon, that the television and all its agenda is manipulative in its subliminal and psychological ways, that it demands your movement, away from your truth. You've been brought into a system of using the television as an authority figure. Maybe Ralph, thought Walter Cronkite was the bomb. He was the authority. He knew it all, but he didn't realize that all those systems had a script. Probably from one of those corporations like the Rand Corporation. That they gave these scripts to these so-called news anchors so they could be like seen in the ultimate status of knowing when the hidden evidence says that it was scripted. Brought into indoctrinate a humanity into conformity. Conformity of the truth. This is the manipulation of a truth, an overlay of an ultimate truth. Ralph can have his own opinion based on his limited understanding, and what I will say is that most humanity has a limited understanding of the hidden or the unearthed truths. Truths that live without consensus, knowing it. You see, the winds of truth are here. The winds of change are here. Sincerity, honesty, alignment with the spirit of your being, this makes for the ultimate truth. Genuine truth. When a being can have a universal view of the world and any situation present, this person can discern the truth of the world. So in my past podcasts, there were some called Speak Your Truth and one called Allowing the Truths of Others. It would be a really great time now to revisit those. Right here, while we're discussing this, it matters to allow someone to speak their truth, and it matters to allow the truths of others. We're not here to manipulate others or their truth, even if it looks like, to you, wrong. It's really hard to convey what is a truth in a few minutes over a podcast, because this is not about logic or proof as truth. It's about multidimensional awareness of a 360-degree view of all the energies involved in a situation to determine a truth. And that's only done through a free and clear vessel. Truth should be sincere and honest, not right or wrong, but coherent and authentic and unconditional. These are the keys to a universal truth. These kind of things will assist a collective truth. What this really means is the energy of divine is a truth. The energy of ever-presence within you is a truth. The energies of peace and love and joy and freedom are true. Well, so are all the other sides of the spectrum. The darker truths are real too, and may be displayed as death or destruction or mayhem. But these are also truths. Light is light and light is dark. You are both. You are both in the eyes of Source. Zoroaster knew this. The wizard knew that. There are always many spectrums to a truth. Can you view them with complete wholeness, with compassion for yourself and the people viewing it, so that you are not bringing your triggers to the truth, your pains to the truth, or your deceptions to the truth? You're bringing wholeness. But we do have all the dark and all the light, and we can have truth in all of that. You get to dictate a truth, whether it's to yourself or to another person, or on a blog, or on a video. What part of you is viewing and perceiving this information you feel as truth? Are you perceiving through the eyes of a victim, through victim energy? If so, how valid is your conclusion of this information? This is really one-sided, narrowly viewed. Well, I can say that if you get your information from televisions and newspapers, you're in a very narrow view of the actuality that plays out on this earth. But even if you get your information from other sources, your personal truth can really differ from others because of the lens that you wear, that you see through. So let's look at the factors for the types of lenses that you see from. There's so many. Like the martyr lens. Oh my gosh, that's a big one. A lot of those going on. Low self-esteem lens. Big one. The I am special lens. That's pretty prevalent right now, especially in the spirituality world. I'm better than you lens. That's the warrior speaking. I'm nothing lens. Oh, that's the beaten down, disappointed, downtrodden human. I'll never do anything lens. The world is over lens. I'm waiting on the apocalypse lens. You see, we build up all these beliefs and these ideas that build upon our truths. This is not a living truth of divinity. I'm not saying that all this is false, but you could say it's all false if it's not divine. But everything can be looked at as divine. But which side of the spectrum are you going to take in? The harmony side or the discord? Because life is a part of both of those, and all the spectrums in between that. But a living truth is one that resonates from the heart space, to know something so deep from source that it feels right, even if others feel it differently. You don't have to speak it to others, but you feel it. A living truth is an expression and an inception of information, like of energy coming from a harmonic source. It rings true. It's clarity of a mind. It's a harmonic mind and a harmonic, peaceful body that can come to a truth faster than one that's struggling with anger and denial and anxiety. How clear is the vessel coming to the conclusion of a truth? Or how tainted, or how clear is the mind? How clear is the heart? Or is there a big, huge wall around the heart so large because of a past life trauma that doesn't allow you to see the beauty of humanity, that you're ready to just like end it all now because of the atrocities of humans? That's a lens. That's not wholeness. If you're only seeing the purging of the humans right now, that's not a whole sight or a living truth. You're masking yourself by not accepting the heart as a mind, the heart as a truth. The heart can be a beacon to guide you. Even in a hard world, even in this weird, abusive world, you can see the truth of life itself and proliferate life itself into your ideas, into your day, into your beliefs, so that you can discern a truth from the wholeness of your being, not from your fragments. It's true we're all doing soul retrieval every day, taking on higher aspects of ourselves. Well, I believe the Earthship is also doing this with humanity, taking on higher and higher aspects as we move the Earth through this galaxy into cosmic fields. We're being pummeled by beta and theta waves, alpha waves. It's taking on higher aspects of a truth, of a wholeness. And when this happens, it's very much like science, like higher energy takes over lower energy. That's where we are right now. So the ideas and thought forms might be fragmented. They might be splintered into half-truths, no truths, false truths, whatever truths. There is, of course, scientific proof. I'm up against that every day with people trying to get absolute proof of, say, Sasquatch, or absolute proof of a political deception. In a world of universal truths and wholeness of a heart and wholeness of a mind, we need no evidence. I need no evidence to come to a conclusion of truth. I need no one else to come to this conclusion. But this is a stretch for a lot of people. If they can't see it written in a textbook from an archaic system called the education system, and someone with some letters behind their name giving authority to a corrupt system to determine the truth for you, damn, that's not me. I've known that since I was a kid. I didn't care what another adult said as a truth. I didn't feel it as a truth. I knew I was right from my perspective, and that felt kind of whole to me. And I harmed no one in the name of this perspective. It was innocence that allowed me to receive and accept the truth. So what if you're the innocent angel that's now under like a firing range of people that are telling you your truth? That's what's going on. Everybody seems to be the authority of your truth. I'm sorry. No. No one is going to tell me my truth. And I shouldn't be telling anyone else theirs. I wish I had one of those sound effects like now, right now, like slamming on of the brakes. If someone's telling you their truth is your truth, no way. You see, we live in a multidimensional world, and wholeness is an attribute of the universal view of life. When most humans are in an earthly, three-dimensional view of any situation, in their mind or in their traumas or in their emotions, not really seeing through a universal view. What you see is what you get. Say, like somebody posts a video and people say, oh my God, look, he was abused. But there you see another video where the guy was the abuser. So you have to wait and then discern. You got to check in with your heart space. Are you being dictated the truths of the world by a self-righteous or angry oppositionist that wants you to see the world through their victim eyes, through their disappointment and their hatred? Or will you take in information and discern it as a truth for yourself? You see, there is also something called a collective truth. This is when a bulk of humanity have formed an energetic intention or an idea, and this idea prevails over humanity. A collective truth. You must have a passport to cross a border, but others do this without passports. So what's the real truth? The collective truth is a consciousness that is in the streams of earth based on the consciousness of humans. It's called the archontic streams. Part of it is our own collective truths going there, and some of our collective truths are, pretty warped. And then they become prevailing collective truths. Now, I do believe that you should have a passport to cross all borders at this time on Earth. But at some point on Earth, I hope that it's free and clear of all borders, and that we can all move about in a free and clear way. But at this time, we're not there yet. So I'm okay. We're doing it the other way. You see, we've got to come into a whole truth or an unburdened truth for ourselves, more than the, collective truths that are riddled with dark thoughts and dark victim status ideas of non-wholeness. I don't really accept too many collective truths as my own. Does this mean I got to stand on a street corner with a banner or a poster board that says my truth? That's a waste of time. Fighting for an incomplete truth is futile. It's a time waster, an energy depleter. Oh, energy depletion. That's a great way to not see a truth, to deplete the energy field of the body and the mind so much that the truth is hard to even see through the miasms and pain that you're experiencing. The lens gets more narrow and more narrow. So I'm going to find my truths always in divine sources. For anything that I'm looking at, my truth is my own. And I hope your truth is your own. And I will honor your truth, no matter if it opposes mine. When atrocities of our government officials and our sports stars and our movie avatars, when their darkness is purged right into this daylight, which you're starting to see, I know much more about the atrocities than most people. But because of these things, soon we're all going to become clearer in our truths, in our individual truths. We can't begin to fight our truth. The winds of truth will prevail. This means that the results of the wind, the result of the future presence of the wind, will rectify all things. The wind will harmonize all things. It's for our personal sovereign expression to remain calm, to remain in peace, to watch this display from others, and some, that are going to be so atrocious, they're going to be difficult to watch. But compassion to yourself is maybe to walk away from the display of the purging, or walking away from the galactic war that someone else is pulling you into in the name of compassion, or in the name of truth, or in the name of truth-seeking. This is about personal sovereignty. When you watch somebody you love choose to walk in pain and then spout that pain off into others, they're speaking it as a truth. There's the truth for you all. But it's really not the truth because their lens is so narrow. We can still hold them in compassion, but knowing our truth through it. You see, I'm totally okay with others and their truths, even if they're seen through a limited source. The innocence of life is worth holding in compassion. If you're abusing others in the name of compassion, please stop. If you think you're being compassionate by spouting your truth to others, please stop. You're manipulating the choices of an innocent soul, of an innocent angelic on this earth. And when you become more knowing of your truth, you can allow others to speak their own truth. You'll be able to have faith and trust the universe to bring the collective truths of many to a brand new day of wholeness. May you all find truths in divinity and grace beyond the displays otherwise. My intention is to bring you more alchemy and more understanding of this type of self-empowerment, to have a sovereign view with your truths and with your life. You can watch my website for some upcoming workshops that will go in depth into alchemy and living your truth. If your intention is to accelerate beyond your current situation, I'm offering a group mentor program as well as a one-on-one mentor program where we get together on a video Zoom call and we can look at all the probable futures that could be explored and how to bring compassion into your truth and how to continue change in your world. So as we emerge from a period of conflict and authoritarian rule, let us emerge into new truths and allow the winds of truth to cleanse us all. Many blessings.